Hey, this is Ray from My Chemical Romance, and you're watching lxjovem.
We're with Ray from My Chemical Romance. Hello, Ray.
Oh, I'm good. I'm doing good. Real good.
What's it like for you guys to be in Lisbon? You yourself have had no contact with Portuguese background, so I've read.
My parents, where they live now, our landlord is Portuguese, and I mean he's a really, really cool guy. And I see where he gets it from. You know, as soon as we came in, we noticed, like, you know, in Spain and also here, we noticed a different attitude. You know, everybody's just really welcoming and just makes you feel at home. You know, and it's just the little things that you notice. You know, like people, you know, if two people are walking down the street, instead of like, you know, some countries people will just bump into you, but here, you know, both of you kind of part ways, and it's just like the little things that you notice, especially when you travel from country to country. And we've noticed in Spain and you know, just the time that we spent here in Portugal, like everybody's just really, really nice. So it's cool to, you know, to experience that.
You guys with the Black Parade seem to have gone on the whole epic thing, or more majestic rock. You seem to have gone full throttle. Considering you write most of My Chemical Romance's music, did you have to adapt in any way? Because it sounds different.
We've never been afraid to try new things and try different styles of music. You know, even on our first record, there's certain songs that stand out from others. You know, some bands, you hear the records and you know, they've been putting out records for a long time, but pretty much every record kind of sounds the same, has the same feel. We've never wanted to do that, and we've always wanted to try to explore different things. You know, and for Black Parade, before we made the record, we had kind of said to ourselves, we want to try to write something that's really epic and write something that, you know, felt like it could stand the test of time. And, you know, to do that, we kind of drew upon a lot of influences that, you know, we kind of grew up listening to because of our parents listening to that music. You know, my parents and my older brother, that's kind of where I get a lot of my early influences. You know, my brother was real heavy into Led Zeppelin, into The Who, into Pink Floyd, you know, Jimi Hendrix, and my parents, you know, my father listened to a lot of Rolling Stones and Bob Dylan, and, you know, and the Beatles too, you know, and you kind of remember what you listened to when you were a kid, and it kind of comes back out. The thing about those records, you can put those on and, you know, you listen, you know, especially like something like Sgt. Pepper's and the White Album, you can listen to it from front to back, and every song is different, but every song is meaningful, and there's something special about each song. And, you know, that's kind of something that we don't think that bands are doing anymore, and that's kind of what we wanted to try to do with the Black Parade.
What about the stuff that's happening right now that you're really into? I
mean, I think the band that I admire the most right now, and you know, just respect. I love what they're doing right now is Muse. We've gotten the chance to play with them in the States and a little bit, and in Canada, and we just did Wembley Stadium with them. And it's funny, when My Chem first started, Muse was a band that Gerard and Mikey had played for me, and they were like, you gotta listen to these guys, you know, like they drew upon a lot of stuff, you know, in a different way, not so much in every song for us, but, you know, has an influence. A lot of classical influence in their music. A lot of the chord progressions, a lot of the arrangements as well are definitely inspired by classical music, by opera. And before this band started, I was listening to a lot of classical guitar, a lot of like Segovia, and kind of what you find is the way, you know, the roots kind of work with a melody on top. And I kind of just got taken up by Spanish guitar because, you know, these guitarists are doing so much on one instrument. You know, you have so many different melodies going on at the same time, and that's, you know, I heard some of that same stuff in Muse, and that's, I mean, they're like hands down, I think my favorite band that's out right now.
seems to be a lot of current hatred for a lot of the so-called emo kids, and some of them seem to be fans of My Chemical Romance. Do you relate to that in any way? Does it make you guys closer with your fans?
You're definitely right. There's kind of, so to me, in some countries more than others, it definitely seems like in the UK.
Seems like a fad as well.
Press, yeah. I mean, press is kind of obsessed with, pitting, these kinds of kids against these kinds of kids, and they almost kind of make up stories. And I think that's kind of what you're seeing now with this, with an emo culture. Every article that you see pretty much that has to do with our bands, brands us emo. I don't know why. I don't know how, we became like the front, the forefathers of it, or whatever you want to call it.
Because there was a history before,
Exactly. So, but somehow we got attached to that.
They're gonna rip up your heads, your aspirations to shreds. Another cog in the machine. They set out teenagers scared to live out of me. They can care less as long as someone will bleed. So darken your clothes, I'll strike the violent post. Maybe it'll leave you alone, but not me.
It's kind of annoying to see because, it gives like a misconception, and like you said, then, fans of our band are for some reason either picked on or shit on because they like us, which in turn people think, oh, they must be emo kids, and then they get shit on for it. We've seen it at some of the festivals last year.
Because at the same time, you're embraced. I mean, even Kerrang voted you the best band and worst band. The same.
Worst, yeah. So I mean, it just doesn't make sense. Honestly, the way I feel about it is just people trying to get a story and trying to sell magazines, and people are subscribing to that. You asked if I relate to it. I mean, in a way, all of us in the band, we were kind of outcasts, I guess, in high school because of the music that you listened to, or because you were shy, or because you were quiet, or maybe you were into computers or something, whatever it is. It's just sad to see. It's sad that that you still see that stuff till this day, where if people like a certain kind of music, for some reason you have to step on them or shit on them because they don't like the music you like, and it's just it's sad to see. And I mean, hopefully that would come to a stop, but I can't see that happen.